The biggest style icons of all time. From Cardi B to Princess D. Here, we've got some of the biggest style icons of all time, who each fit into this broad definition, but who also put their own spin on what it means to be a fashion innovator for the ages. Rock and roll style would never be the same thanks to Joan Jett. As founder of the Runaways and frontrunner for Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, she was an immensely talented singer and public figure. But her style was iconic because she knew what worked for her. Mainly leather, chains, statement jackets, strategic use of color, with a touch of femininity and a ton of jewelry. And she made small, but important evolutions to her look throughout her long career. Billy Porter, who says men can't wear the most fabulous gown on the red carpet. Since becoming Lola on Broadway's Kinky Boots, Billy Porter has been a champion of genderless fashion, whose immediately iconic outfits only increased in intensity through his Golden Globe nomination for Pose. His selections are bold. When he wore a black Christian Siriano tuxedo dress to the Academy Awards in 2019, he made history. Alexa June. Initially coming to prominence in the 90s and peaking in the 00s, June could argue that she was a preeminent influencer, one of the first of her kind. A model by trade, but also a reliably funny on-screen presence. She has an eclectic style, such as pairing a colorful mini with knee-high boots, for example. She's continued to pioneer her own fashion, including through a line with Marks and Spencer and a Mulberry Alexa collaboration. Zhang Shrimpton. It might sound hard to believe, but when David Bailey shot Zhang Shrimpton on the street, it was an innovative, never-been-done-before idea, and basically helped usher in street style. One of the first supermodels, the former face of Revlon and the face of the 60s, had an enormous impact on fashion. Airport style, the miniskirt, an absolutely scandalous item of clothing at the time, and great fringe Y haircuts with dark eyeshadow. Andre Leon Talley, the first black creative director at American Vogue. Talley had a huge cultural impact, and additionally, his personal style was revolutionary. His magnificent coats, capes, and bags, a personal style he developed early in life before he was even a fashion journalist, were museum-worthy pieces. Quite literally, since his collection, including couture, jewelry, handbags, jewelry, and art, was sold at Christie's in 2023. Twiggy, a fashion icon of the 60s and an early supermodel, Twiggy was seen as the successor to fellow supermodel Zhang Shrimpton. She brought a waifish, androgynous look to the mainstream, particularly with her short haircut, which was controversial at the time, but still landed her in magazines including for American and British Vogue. She acted, sang, became a cultural icon, and even came out with a line of Twiggy dresses. Victoria Beckham. Posh Spice no more. Even though Victoria Beckham is honest and jovial about her roots as 1/5 of the most popular girl group in the world in the 90s, and about how her costumes included a lot of latex, she's most interested in being taken seriously as a designer and fashion mainstay. It's absolutely worked. She's creative director of a fashion line bearing her name, which made its Paris Fashion Week debut in 2022. Jennifer Lopez. JLO's been around for a long time, and in that decades-long fashion evolution, she's given us many an iconic red carpet look. Just remember that green, navel-bearing Versace that instantly made her the most talked-about person on earth. But on a deeper level, her rise to prominence despite being a curvier person, and having that be discussed at length too, helped usher in a semblance of diversity and body positivity to the fashion conversation. Nicole Kidman. Since the 90s, Kidman has been turning out fashion looks, From her unexpected chartreuse Dior at the normally black tie Oscars, to her red glamour at the same event a decade later, she's the gold standard for red carpet dressing. The fact that she's always game for a cutout, color, or pattern, especially in recent years, makes her a dream for designers to dress. CNN called her one of fashion's biggest risk-takers in 2022. Blake Lively, with a very strong start as Serena on the fan-favorite TV show Gossip Girl. Blake Lively parlayed her initial fashion chops into a legitimate, mature style. A Met Gala darling whose looks have only gotten more ornate over the years, culminating in a 2022 Versace that started out rose gold and unfurled to become light green, representing the Statue of Liberty's discoloration. Which, wow, she's officially a couture queen. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, the late wife to John F. Kennedy Jr., came to prominence in the 90s as the street style icon. Her fashion wasn't as ornate as other stars of the decade. She got married in a silk gown and beaded sandals, but her use of elevated basics like blue denim, jackets and coats, white tees and plain LBDs, while making interesting combinations from her pieces. She was one of the first to insist that, yes, brown and black and beige can be combined together, make her looks iconic even now. Cardi B's style is always so over the top that you can't help but love it. She works with impressive fashion houses, including Givenchy and Gucci, and she wears the biggest, brightest, most risque outfits of anyone on the red carpet. She's always working to outdo herself, and she's even become an important presence at Paris Fashion Week. She's the pinnacle of dressing to make yourself happy, and she models body positivity and self-expression all at the same time. Grace Kelly. Modern celebrities reference the late Grace Kelly in their billowy, elegant red carpet dresses. And it's true that some of her most iconic looks were beautifully tailored ball gowns. But her everyday style was just as impressive, both on screen, as in her stylish turn in Rear Window, and her actual real-life style. She could elevate jeans with a ballet flat and floral top, and she could deploy sunglasses to make a day dress more casual. She had a strong sense of her core aesthetic, but she could make any outfit in that aesthetic sing. Lady Gaga. It's not just about the meat dress, but the fact that Lady Gaga literally wore a meat dress in 2010, and we absolutely consider it par for the course for the singer, songwriter, and actor, just goes to show what a true style icon she really is. Over-the-top style has always been integral to her self-expression, even though after her transition to acting, she, mostly, started showing up to red carpets in sleeker, more streamlined styles. She remains as cool and edgy as ever. Michelle Obama joked to Jay Leno that her campaign outfits were all J. Crew, but the First Lady stepped out in some of the most regal gowns the office had ever seen. From Marc Jacobs to Oscar de la Renta, she was wholeheartedly an icon for political fashion, which isn't always known for its forward-thinking looks, and she also highlighted fashion as a serious, important art form. For a historical two turns, she made fashion history. Marilyn Monroe. If you've ever worn something bodycon, chances are you've been influenced by Marilyn Monroe. Her popularity as an actor dovetailed with the fitted, accentuated outfits she generally wore on the red carpet. Not to mention the costumes she wore on the set of movies, and the deep V-necks, cutouts and sparkles that set her apart at the time. We still feel her influence in more ways than one, just to name one example. Kim Kardashian, controversially, wore her Happy Birthday Mr. President dress to the 2022 Met Gala. Brigitte Bardot, once described as the world's most beautiful woman, Brigitte Bardot was the icon of the 50s and 60s. She utilized her bombshell status to break with convention, including wearing miniskirts and messy eyeliner. She brought innovation to fashion, such as when she asked shoe brand Repetto to make her some outdoor shoes, and generally cared less about what people thought. Jean-Claude Gitraux, who dressed her later in her career, calls her style chic destroy. Princess Diana. The late Princess Diana had quite the style evolution. She started out with a sweet, almost innocent style as a young woman, then matured into a working royal. Part of her identity as the people's princess was her dressed-up style. Then, upon her separation and divorce, she debuted a mature, sometimes sexy style, see also her revenge dress. And something more evolved still, joyful dressing. The whole world watched her. Beyoncé. If fashion is theatre, Beyoncé is the stage director. She doesn't just hold her own against any other red carpet icon working today. She works often with Black creatives, including designers, photographers, and entrepreneurs, and foregrounds their work as a part of her process. All the more impressive because in breaking with tradition, she's creating new ones. Even her social media posts give careful editorial consideration and spotlight new and diverse voices. Diana Ross. As one of the forerunners of edgy glam concert style, and never underestimate how her luxurious hair was an integral part of her look, Diana Ross evolved her fashion during her long career from the 50s through the 70s. She went from chic and buttoned up, to bohemian and flowy, to sparkly and fitted, to simple and pared down, all while retaining her core aesthetics. If you care about 70s fashion especially, she's your inspo. Sophia Loren. Even though it's disputed that Sophia Loren attributed her figure to spaghetti and wine, it's true that Loren had a body type that was unlike some of her contemporaries, and that's one of the reasons. She's known sometimes as the Italian Marilyn Monroe. Bodycon dresses, winged eyeliner, lots of really great jewelry. It was her trademark look, and ultimately couture designers got on board to help her achieve it. Zendaya. Working with stylist Law Roach, Zendaya originally became a style icon in a smart way. She would wear dresses and outfits that someone had already worn on the red carpet, drawing natural comparisons in the Who Wore It Better sections of magazines. Her reputation established, she's continued to push boundaries on the red carpet, but always does so in an elevated, couture-focused way. She's also a bit of a chameleon. You never know what she's going to turn up in next.